Hey guys, in this video we're going to take a look at scratch building terrain for your games of Necromunda, Kill Team or 40k. In this picture here you can see a piece of terrain that I made some time ago. It represents a kind of shanty town gang hideout type thing. It was made from the usual sort of like craft-like materials, including Pringles tubes, cardstock material, plastic sheet material from ranges like Evergreen Styrene and JTT Scenics. Also a whole load of gravels and even stuff like pulled apart medical bandage crepe tissue to give those kind of clothy, dirty appearances you see lying around. There's also assorted tubes and straws and such like, and bits of electrical wiring and cable that I've glued into different places. Also the old classic granny grating, as it's called, that sort of mesh material you can get from haberdashery stores like say Spotlight or something like that. And of course a whole selection of bits and pieces that I've gleaned from the bits pile of GW's plastic kits, bits of ladder and all kinds of other little embellishments that you can make on your terrain pieces. Another sort of core ingredient is the nature of the cardstock. Now this is card that you can normally get from the back of any kind of writing pad. It's that sort of 2mm thick card-like material. It's got a name. It's called Grafix medium chipboard, and you can buy it in packs from various craft suppliers. And shout out to Wyloch's Armoury and Eric's Hobby Workshop, who are great sources of inspiration and tips for these materials and how to use them. I'll put some links in the description below. But anyway, I'll flick on through this video with you. You can see how these things came together. Obviously with Necromunda you're trying to get a level of height with these buildings so your fighters can move up and down through levels, and there's the risk of falling or whatever, which makes the game interesting. Oh, that little handle there, that's actually a press stud button from the haberdashery stop. So it makes a nice little handle for your pipe work. What else can I see here that we've used? Oh, obviously the nature of Necromunda to me is obviously layers of building upon a building, and I figure there's always going to be bits of crap and detritus and things falling from the levels above, so that's why I always put bits of gravel and other bits and bobs on top of the surface. It also makes something for the model's bases to key on, so you can put them on these sloped roofs and they won't fall off. Obviously also there you can see there's a 3D printed chimney stack arrangement. I also make use of 3D printed bits and pieces here and there to just embellish the things I can't find a suitable piece for when I'm scrap building, or it'll just take too long to make something equivalently. So yeah. This is a tower, as you can probably see. It's a simple guard post tower. Again, the main structure is cardstock or Foamboard as well, that sort of foam material which is sandwiched between two layers of thin papery card. Cuts very easily with a knife, very easy to model with. I also use some pieces of plastic from clam pack type material that you get various pieces in that you buy. Just chop it up, stick it on the back, and you've got some broken window effects. More granny grating for those walkways, and cardstock to make the frame. The railings again and the ladders here, they were 3D printed components, just simple files I generated on the free program 3D Builder. And they print out pretty quickly, and you can even get them to bend round corners, as you'll see in a subsequent terrain piece. The main I-beams that hold this structure up, again, they're just that cardstock material. You just cut 3 strips, glue them together in an I shape, and you've got an I-beam. This lid will lift off, obviously, to show you the internals, and I put some magnets in there just to secure it during gameplay, so you can get models inside the item as well. A bit of cardstock again on the top to make a final platform top, and that's pretty much our tower complete. This is a elaborate structure. Again, guess what it's made from? Pringles tubes. But the T-piece that connects them all together is a electrical conduit piece, which I was kindly donated by a friend who is in the electrical business. Mr. Patterson, step forward, take a bow, thank you very much. More of those railings and ladders, again, they are 3D pieces, just printed pieces which I printed out, stuck into place, or bent and then stuck into place. The hatchways on top, again, 3D printed little pieces I came up with. The plastic pipe elbows at the bottom, they were purchased from a pipe plumbing shop. The little rivets, they're just sliced sections of plastic rod, just glued into place repetitively, and you get a rivet effect. The little sort of like strips in the vertical line you're looking at there, it's just cable tie, stripped cable tie, chop the ends off, glue it into place, give some texture to the surface. The main thing which makes this piece come together is the painting, which you get all that rusting, and it's mostly obviously shades of brown and stippled on with a piece of old sponge, and then with streaks added to that with various brown washes just to give you that kind of streaking rust effect. The little computer terminal there was a 3D print. And yeah, so this terrain piece is featured in plenty of our games, and guess what? Yes, people have frequently fallen from the tops of those heights, and it makes for much laughter and amusement. This was a terrain piece inspired by a thing I saw many years ago in an article in one of the White Dwarf magazines. It's basically a pump-out station which waste material from whatever industrial process gets pumped out into this oxidation pool, or call it what you will, and it just sits here. So it can either be just a water feature, it could be a toxic water feature, dangerous environment. You can play it as you want to. The core structure is just card, again foam card, which has then been layered with card material and more studs and rivets added. You can probably recognize some of the some of the walling on top of it is from the old Administratum sector terrain kits. More granny grating, a DIY hatch on the top there, more pieces you recognize from the old terrain sets. A ladder made out of some of those indeed. A Imperial Aquila, again a 3D print item. And the item below that is again some electrical internal something or other I got from somewhere, again probably Mr. Patterson, thank you. And water effects to make the water flow down, and gloss liquid latex medium stippled onto the surface there, and you've got water. Again, another intriguing tower structure, trying to keep height in our builds. Again, the core of this is no surprises, Pringles tubes. More granny grating mesh for the levels. I then use various bits and pieces to make some barricade perimeter sides for it, so people have got places to hide behind. Most of those barrels that you see are actually desiccants that you get inside medicine and vitamin containers and such like, so never throw those away. Keep them to one side, spray them up, paint them, you've got a whole load of cheap free barrels. That structure on top was actually a 3D terrain piece that failed, but I just thought, sod it, I'll use it anyway. I just took it out and added more plastic bits and bobs and some more of that bandage material to soften the edge and make it look something. Again, a piece from my bits pile there, bits and pieces of pipe work and such like from I think Green Stuff World do a range of pipe elbows. That odd structure there, that's part of a inhaler, the metal canister inside an inhaler. I just punched out that and put a pipe elbow on top, glued into place. Another interesting feature. So you can kind of see where I'm getting at this with. You can make use of all kinds of materials to get these terrain pieces looking interesting. This huge water processing plant, this came from two pieces of white styrene material, packaging material from an appliance. I can't remember what it was now, but I just remember two pieces had two square holes in the top, and it just got me thinking that could be water. Set them off to one side, put some pipes on top, and away you go. So you can see I've made use of some of the old pipe sections there that were terrain available at the time. Smokestack from the, I think it was the Manufactorium, the old terrain piece. Another 3D printed Aquila, some 3D printed steps, more pipe work. Again, the water areas were filled with water resin effects, then stippled on with gloss liquid latex to get the ripple. The actual flow from the pipes down is a sliced section of acrylic rod, which I glued into place, and then again stippled on some more water effects to give it a bit of a flow, and added some painted water effects to give a bit of white to the highlights of those water areas. The railings were 3D printed and glued into place. And those hatches again were from a terrain kit from, I think it was the Alchemite set from some time ago. Computer fans are great for looking at a bit of interest, and some doors again from the old terrain kits you used to be able to get from GW. and embellished with posters and things just to give that interesting look. You can get these downloaded if you do some Google searching, freely available. Just chop them out, stick them into place, adds a bit of touch and texture. So quite a big piece again here, lots of firing positions, lots of access ways up on top to keep the Imperium in the water it is requiring for its populace to survive. So there we go, water feature. And coming up next, now this was a real mishmash of different ideas coming together. The big cylindrical object on one end is a big medicines container from work at the pharmacy. The other tall structure on the opposite end, that's part of a toy gun which I chopped up and stuck into place. The pipework material connecting it is a set of kids connectable tube stuff you can get quite cheaply on Amazon and such like. The odd element at the bottom, in the middle there, coming up and joining on the side area with wires, that's part of a heating element from an old kettle, or jug as you might call it here. Various embellishments again. The meshwork on the side of that main cylinder is actually hair rollers that have been chopped out and stretched, so you get that grid effect. More basic cardstock and corrugated material in plastic form glued into place. Some decals there from the Necromunda decal sheet. And of course, Kilroy has to get everywhere. I don't see why he's not in the 41st Millennium too. Bits and bobs of wire and cardstock and thing. Obviously when I pulled that toy gun apart, there was lots of holes and things it left, and I just filled them with square sections of card, painted it up, and it worked fine. That's all cardstock, which made the staircase and 3D printed railings. And yeah, you just kind of keep embellishing, adding bits. I think the top of that structure is a toothpaste tube holder, the classic nozzle type effect. And then you take the top off and you've got an internal structure. So the idea was that you can, if you choose to, you could maybe have some 3D floor plans to one side. So if somebody goes inside the building, they then take off the board and go into like a floor plan, and they can move around inside should they need to. There's obviously an interesting little machine device here. I like to call this the machine that goes ping, in homage to the old classic Monty Python movie. It's basically, again, more cardstock. I think there was tiddlywinks and things for the dials. The cogs and things on the side, I think they were the internals of the toy gun. More buttons and press studs and things. Mesh, bent wire. Plastic plumbing parts, and I even did the door on the inside this time with a panel. The panel is just a piece of cardstock with more little plastic buttons and rivets and things stuck on it. And there you go, a building that you can actually get into and make a bit more interest in your games. Maybe there's a passageway that leads down through that trapdoor, and more floor plans could conceal an area underneath that the gangers have to get into and secure. Who knows? The limitation of your imagination is the only thing here. So there you go, this video wasn't really intended to be a deliberate how to build this building, more a sense of inspiration and ideas and how to do things. Here's a few pictures of how that thing came together. You can see the pieces I was discussing earlier. All's fairly straightforward, and just the wonder of adding the paint brings the whole thing together. And there's how the machine that went ping started off, and some close-up pics of it painted. Lots of fun. You can get really creative with this kind of thing. One of my gangers defending the entranceway there. And here's some just general pics of these train pieces in use in our games. Go together really well. Cops having a standoff there with one of my Wylochs. Yeah, lots of fun. Really like the Necromunda environment. It just really presses all my buttons, and I love making terrain for it. And there he is, the defender at the end on the top of his tower. So there you go. I hope you liked this video. I hope you found it interesting. Maybe it's going to give you some inspiration in making your own videos in the future. Videos? Who knows? Your own terrain in the future. That's who I meant. That's the guy standing at the end. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next video. Cheers.